4 competitors think they have what it takes to be the Chopped champion. Let's meet them. First up, Chef Jamie Adams.
I'm the executive chef at Veni Vidi Vici here in Atlanta, Georgia. I know that I'm the best chef in Atlanta because I've had a long track record of success. This restaurant is still around after 20 years.
Marco, sono pronte le patate?
My goal is to produce very authentic Italian food. Try to be very true to what I experienced when I lived and worked in Italy for about 5 years. I had open heart surgery in 2000. I appreciate every day since my surgery. It's given me a new outlook on life, a new confidence. Second is not fun. First is what it's all about.
Next, Chef Stefan Bogardus.
I'm the chef de cuisine of the North Fork Table and Inn, a fine dining restaurant on the North Fork of Long Island.
Ordering 1 duck, fire foie gras.
A lot of people think that only being 23 years old, you can't be the chef de cuisine in a restaurant. But I've spent well over 60 hours a week in restaurants since the age of 15. I have passion and a love for great food. One of the few ways that I take time to get away from the kitchen is hunting. Deer, geese, squirrels. I love using all parts of the animal, kidneys and thymus glands. I love offals. Even though I am so young, I'm extremely good at my craft. I'm here to win Chopped, like a hunter ready to stalk his prey.
Then there's Chef Ann Churchill.
I'm a caterer and rock and roll tour chef. I've gone on a tour with Dave Matthews Band for 2 years. And that's really exciting and a really intense challenge. What I love about being a tour chef is you're in different cities all the time, and I love traveling, and I don't mind living somewhat of a vagabond existence. My culinary style is world comfort. In my backyard, I have a curry bush, which is from India, kaffir lime, a pink lemon, and a blood orange. Some days I'm like, I can't believe this is my life. I think that when you do what is in line with the universe and when you really go with your gut, I think you get rewarded.
And finally, Chef Steve Benjamin.
I'm executive chef of L'Atelier de Joie Robuchon, Las Vegas. I was working with Mr. Robuchon in Paris and asked me to come to Las Vegas for open this restaurant. My cuisine is very traditional French. To respect the product's gonna respect you. My daughter almost eats everything. She eats escargot. Can you believe that? She's a little bit part of me, you know? She really wants to try everything. Every day I really want to bring the best, and I'm gonna win in this competition for my wife and my daughter. Voila!
Welcome, chefs. Here are the rules. There are 3 rounds: appetizer, entree, and dessert. Each course has its own basket of mystery ingredients. You must use every ingredient in the basket in some way. Also available to you, our pantry and fridge. Each round is timed. When the clock runs out, our judges will critique your dishes on presentation, taste, and creativity. If your dish doesn't cut it, you will be chopped. Chefs, please open your baskets for the appetizer round. And we have black radishes, smoked beef tongue,
Smoked beef tongue, right?
garbanzo beans, and Italian anchovies. 20 minutes for the first course. Time starts now.
The smoked tongue tastes like bacon. And seared, it's gonna be lovely. I'm gonna make seared beef tongue and then an anchovy cream sauce with lightly poached garbanzos. I haven't worked with fresh garbanzo beans before, but I know the garbanzo beans are a little labor intensive. So the first thing was to peel the garbanzos. Oh, double one. As a tour chef, I just love traveling. Then I want to $10,000 to go to Borneo. That's just a whole food world that most people haven't gotten to experience.
I do enjoy beef tongue, but I am not very well versed with the product. I decided that I'm going to make roasted beef tongue with a ragu of fresh garbanzos, anchovy broth, and raw shaved radish. I love every single aspect of food at the age of 23 years old. I will get better at my craft every single day. I'm an extremely competitive guy. If I win, it would prove that I belong here and that I will never take my black pants and this coat off for the rest of my life.
The beef tongue is not really easy on the eyes. It looks very intimidating, but in fact, it's a very easy ingredient to use. And all I gotta do is get the skin off, cube it, and just give it a good sear in a pan, and I'm there. So I'm thinking I'm gonna make a warm, seared beef tongue with fresh garbanzo beans, and I'm gonna make anchovy garlic and balsamic vinaigrette. After surviving bypass surgery, I've gained a great deal more confidence, and I'm thankful for being able to live through such an ordeal. If I can beat heart disease, then I'm gonna win, and I'm gonna win big.
I'm actually pretty nervous. When I have pressure, I need to do something, you know, I need to move, I need to keep action. And I think I'm gonna make like a salad. The Italian anchovies, this is gonna be very good with Roman lettuce. I get a lot of pressure today, and I really want to win. I'm from Robuchon team, so people expecting everything to be perfect.
And our judges are Mr. Scott Conant, chef owner of the acclaimed Scarpetta restaurants, Chef Leanne Wong, restaurant consultant and global fusion master, and Chef Mark Murphy, owner of the successful Landmark restaurants. Oh my. So the beef tongue has been smoked. Does that mean that it should be ready to go?
This should be cooked already. It's a really good product.
It's the strongest muscle in the body, so you really want to slice it thin. You don't want a huge chunk of tongue on your plate. It might be a little disconcerting.
A little too much tongue.
I feel rather confident that I'm gonna put together a beef tongue dish that no one has ever seen before. My boss, executive chef Jerry Hayden, trained me directly out of culinary school. He taught me almost everything that I know. I am very, very grateful for him. And I would like to make Jerry Hayden very proud today.
And chefs, 10 minutes left on the clock.
I'm very worried about the time. My heart's racing. I'm thinking, it's not a good time to have a heart attack. Where did my beans go?
What's special about a black radish? How is it different from an ordinary radish?
It's denser. It has less of a watery texture, so it's good for braising and very nutty. It's similar to horseradish.
Black radish, not gonna peel it. I'm gonna keep the skin on because it's where the flavor is. So I thin slice with a mandolin to put it on the top of my salad. I really want to win for my daughter. As soon as she's gonna see it on the TV, said, oh, look, it's my dad. And I'm gonna be proud about him.
Chefs, 5 minutes left on the clock.
I'm going to pickle the radish in mirin, rice wine vinegar. Then I want to get really thin radish slices, but I don't even know where the mandolin is.
Grab the mandolin when you're through. Thank you.
Get it?
So I've sliced them, and the slices just aren't coming out thinly. I'm nervous about the radishes, but there's no time to think.
Cooks in America, Sunday night at 9 on Food Network.
The radish was just more unwieldy to work with than I had thought. And unfortunately, the radish slices were sort of too thick. But I'm hoping that the heat in the pickling liquid will be enough to soften them enough. I was in my mid-30s when I decided to go to culinary school. I just had this epiphany. I love cooking and hope that maybe I'll inspire other people who aren't living their dream to go for it.
I feel my heart racing. I have to get these radishes in somewhere. And with the amount of time that's left, there's not much more that I can do than thinly shave them, and I hope it's good.
All right, chefs, got to call the 2-minute warning.
Pressure is on.
I start to make my puree. I mix chickpea on the blender with some ricotta. If it works and if it's good, it's gonna make it for sure.
The way I make the vinaigrette is a classic way I did it when I lived over there in Italy. You brown a little garlic in a pan, melt some anchovies into that olive oil, and then add a vinegar of some sort.
Behind. So I put the radish down and then start arranging the beef tongue and garbanzos.
Chefs, 1 minute left on the clock.
I have to hurry. First thing I put in the bowl is my ragu of fresh garbanzo beans.
Put some mushroom and the anchovy on the end for a little bit of flavor.
I got the beef tongue and the garbanzos on the plate, but it's not refined. I'm stressing out big time.
I hope you all enjoyed your first 20 minutes in the Chopped Kitchen, because I'm afraid they will be somebody's last. And 10, 9, 8, 7,
Oh, the tension.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Step back.
I look down at my dish and feel happy, excited, and confident to go into the judging table. I look over at Steve's dish and just looks like a lot of salad.
Now I'm worried about if it's not too easy. I didn't push myself. I'm the chef from Robuchon and he's making a simple salad. Are you kidding me?
Chefs, you've arrived at the chopping block. Have your first courses demonstrated the true potential of black radishes with smoked beef tongue, garbanzo beans, and Italian anchovies? Chef Jamie.
I have prepared here a beef tongue salad with fresh garbanzo beans and a warm salad of the black radishes with classic Italian vinaigrette and the anchovies.
The way you dice the beef tongue, it sort of feels like lardon, which I like.
I agree, but I think there's some inconsistencies. If you just look at the way this tongue is cut and how the sizes are, very different. It's just not as developed and refined as it could have been.
Gotcha. Thank you, Chef.
I'm enjoying the flavors here. I think that the anchovy is used just right, and it's a nice little background in that vinaigrette, which I like a lot.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I agree. I think the anchovies are really delicious. And you're an Italian chef.
Not Italian, but I lived in Italy for about 5 years. Worked for the best restaurants I could get myself into.
What would you do with $10,000?
Well, I'm going to go back to Piemonte and take the family. We're also going to go to Rome.
Next up, Chef Stefan.
I made roasted smoked beef tongue with a ragu of fresh garbanzos, anchovy, and carrot with a salad of herbs, lettuces, and black radish.
I have to say, I'm very impressed with this dish. It's a nice texture that you got this kind of crust on top of the tongue. And it reminds me almost of like eating like braised bacon.
Thank you very much.
But I feel like there could be a little more salt in this dish.
And I think the glaring sort of thing on the plate were just the undressed radishes. Texturally, they're a little challenging if they're not marinated, cooked, or salted.
So, Chef, what motivates you to compete with us?
I'm actually here because my mentor, Jerry Hayden, was diagnosed with ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease, about 18 months ago.
Jerry's kind of legendary in the New York restaurant scene. He's been around for a very long time.
And while his mind is still functioning, I've kind of become his body and his hands. And if I win today, I'm going to be donating the $10,000 to his charity. It's called Hayden's Heroes.
Chef Stefan, thank you. Next up, Chef Ann.
Chefs, today I prepared for you a Asian pickled radish with seared smoked beef tongue and an anchovy chickpea cream.
I think the beef tongue's a good size. I like that. That's actually perfect.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite ways to do tongue, just to slice it super thin and like pan fry it nice and crispy.
And I like the garbanzo beans a lot, even though they're very simply prepared, and it just seems like you blanch them.
But I'm feeling like this radish is not pickled enough. And it's making it difficult to eat this dish because you gotta saw through it.
Last appetizer, Chef Steve.
I cooked today for you a romaine salad with creamy fresh chickpea with some ricotta and smoky beef tongue.
My favorite thing on the plate was your garbanzo ricotta puree. I thought it was sexy and delicious. So really loved it.
I think there's a lot of raw mushrooms. I mean, it's just too heavy. It's too much. And I'm not seeing where the anchovies come into play.
So what motivates you to come and compete with us, Chef?
Winning, and actually I really love competition. I really love to put myself a little bit on pressure. And I have a lot right now.
You have a lot of pressure? Why?
Working for Robuchon.
You work for the king.
Yeah. Work with a sensitive guy.
Chef Steve, thank you.
Thank you very much.
The judges have 4 dishes from very different points of view to consider now. Thank you, chefs.
beef tongue.
I took a big
Fantastic.
bite of it, too. I was
mean-
like, this is awesome.
But it was like smoky, yummy bacon
It was like bacon.
tongue.
I looked at everyone else's dishes and I was like, oh, because it was so clean and concise and it was plated nicely. And
Oh, mine looked like country cooking. Come on.
I had rustic going on.
Okay, so with Act 1 of our little culinary drama concluded, what did you think of our chef's performances?
I was really impressed with Stefan's dish. The amount of flavor that he was able to develop in 20 minutes was really amazing.
Stefan did more than hold his own.
I agree, but I think what it did suffer from was just a lack of acidity. He needed to dress that salad that he had on top.
I thought we saw some good work out of Steve as well. I thought the puree that he made with the chickpeas was great.
I agree. I just think that, you know, there were a little bit too many mushrooms on the plate.
I thought Ann did a great job with the beef tongue. The way she got it crispy and really made it feel like a nice piece of bacon on that plate.
But, you know, my biggest issue was when the plate landed in front of me, all I got was like, oh my God, it's a plate of pickled radishes. And there were definitely some inconsistencies with Jamie's dish. The tongue was not uniformly cut. Some are chewy, some are crisp.
Jamie did a really good job of developing flavor, but I would like to see him push himself a little bit more.
Okay, keeping in mind our criteria, presentation, taste, creativity, who has to go?
I think we know.
my dish wasn't as composed as I would have liked. There just wasn't enough time to get it done.
I'm doing a little kicking myself because I thought cut the radish in half and then you can just do really thin little slices.
I don't know who's gonna be chopped, but probably myself. I don't know.
So, whose dish is on the chopping block? Welcome to the world of Chopped. This season is the most challenging, jaw-dropping, and heart-plunging yet. And I love every minute of it.
All new, Chopped. Next Tuesday night at 10 on Food Network. This husband and wife team need an...
Before we can start the entree round, we must send one chef on their way. So, whose dish is on the chopping block? Chef Ann, you've been chopped. Judges?
Chef Ann, while we really appreciated your crispy beef tongue and all those fresh garbanzos you got on the plate, we just couldn't look past the missteps with the radish, and for this reason, you've been chopped.
I appreciate the opportunity. It was lovely. I was looking forward to the entree round, and it'd be fun to have $10,000 to go to Borneo, but it just might take a little while longer. So, a dream deferred.
The woman is chopped, and it's all about men, so it's gonna be tough.
Chef Jamie, Chef Stefan, Chef Steve, please open your baskets. And your entrees must include halibut, aquavit, Chinese spinach, and Mexican chorizo. 30 minutes for your main courses. Time starts now.
The first round was pretty tough because you don't know the kitchen, but I have pretty nice skills, and I worked for like 20 years in the restaurant. So I can do better. I decide I will make an halibut stuffed with some chorizo and roasted potatoes, flavored with chorizo and garlic. Start slices potatoes. Put it on this big pot, the one we call faitout in France, because you can make everything inside.
If you want to toss your food in a pan, why not just use a sauté pan?
When you have something with such high sides, there's a lot of steam that kind of comes back into itself. So what he's doing is developing a lot more flavor than he would by just sautéing it by itself.
I need to show everybody my skill. I didn't come to lose.
I'm not entirely sure what to do with this basket, but Jerry Hayden is in my head trying to tell me what to do. I'm gonna grill the halibut, make some rice with peppers and onions, and sauteed spinach with some chorizo broth. I have to start my rice right away. 30 minutes to cook rice is definitely gonna be a challenge. Jerry's currently fighting for his life. It's extremely difficult to see a mentor in his condition, but it's a driving force to succeed while he's still able to see me.
I'm feeling a lot more relaxed at the beginning of the second round, and I am jumping for joy that I've got a halibut. I know I can cook halibut better than your average bear. I'm gonna make pan-roasted halibut with braised Chinese spinach and make a little ragu of the Mexican chorizo. I would describe myself as being very driven towards excellence. I like to win the competitions I'm in, whether it's on the bicycle or in the kitchen. Thereby, I'm a pretty competitive fella.
So, judges, we have halibut and aquavit, that fine Scandinavian spirit in this basket. What do you think?
Halibut, one of the largest fish in the Pacific.
They can get up to be like 9 feet, 700 pounds. It's a really lean fish.
If you overcook halibut, you're in trouble. Oh, look, Stefan has his fish on that grill pan.
I don't think it lends itself well to grilling.
I think if I'm ambitious and try to grill it on one side and then cook it slowly on the other, I will preserve the flavor and texture of a beautiful, delicate fish. I'm the youngest here, but just because you're the youngest doesn't mean that you can't be the leader.
I took the fish, put chorizo through this fillet, and I just dipped nice piece of lemongrass. I made already 2 competitions in France, and I failed 2 times, and I was very, very upset about that. So this competition, I really need to win it.
The fat in the chorizo is a good little addition to a piece of lean fish like the halibut. If you just use a little bit as a seasoning agent, it's a good flavor profile. So I just rendered it a little bit in the pan. And then I do some little thin potato medallions, and I poached them with a little white wine.
Well, I have to say that, you know, Stefan standing next to Stephen and Jamie, there's so much more experience on his right and his left, years-wise.
I do feel like a bit of David and Goliath going against 2 of these chefs. I mean, they have decades of experience. I'm not gonna let them intimidate me just because they're older. All that I need is the slingshot.
And chefs, we are now just under 10 minutes.
I'm totally thinking just cooking the Chinese spinach and flavor with a little bit of anchovy. Anchovies are just textbook classic Italian. I saw an opportunity to use them again, but in a completely different way that nobody would even know.
When I test Chinese spinach, yeah, that's really good. I just chop it and put it in my roast potatoes. I want to make a sauce with the yellow bell pepper, so I saute the pepper with some shallots and aquavit flambé, and then the sauce went to the blender. When I was cooking, I was thinking, okay, you're cooking for $10,000 and you're cooking for your daughter, so make it happen.
And chefs, we're at the 5-minute mark now.
You know, aquavit's a delicious alcohol, but it's got that very distinct caraway flavor.
So as my onions and peppers have cooked, along with my chorizo, I decided that this would be a great place to incorporate the aquavit. It would add a nice background flavor to my sauce. So I deglazed the pan.
Aquavit is very high in alcohol content, so you gotta be very cautious with it. It's very volatile. I'm gonna baste the fish with it because it'll leave a residue of flavor. I'm hoping that that flavor will stick with the fish a little bit.
All right, 2 minutes left on the clock, chefs.
It was time for me to plate. The first thing I put on my plate is the roasted potatoes. I'm just gonna finish with the crispy chorizo on top.
I realized that I have to get going and get something on a plate. I throw the rice in a ring mold.
30 seconds. That's it.
All of a sudden, I realized I got 30 seconds.
Does Jamie have his fish on the plate?
Not yet.
It's cooked.
20 seconds, chefs. Gotta plate it
Jamie's
all.
gotta get his fish on the plate, huh?
Oh, man.
Hurry up.
And you need to be cruising towards the finish line, chefs. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Step back.
Yeah, dudes.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
dudes. Woo!
Wow.
You did it.
Holy cow, look at you.
I look at my dish and I think it looks really, really great.
I looked over at Stefan's dish and I think, let's put a lot of stuff on that plate. And I'm looking down at my dish and I'm thinking, that fish is absolutely dead solid perfect.
Brought to you by Moen. Buy it for